Warning: this video contains the opinions and commentary of yours truly, Michael B. Arana, founder and leader of the Arana Nation YouTube channel and movement. This video is intended to enlighten and inform. The Arana Nation takes no responsibility for the triggering of liberal or conservative snowflakes who have a different point of view and can't bear to hear views opposing theirs. If you blindly worship Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau, son of Satan, and the wrecker of Canada, or you're one of those conservatives who gets an early cycle when you hear a view opposing the current split in the party, you might as well leave now, because this is going to be painful. Also, if you once subscribed to the Arana Nation and you left because you can't stand the fact that I or others think differently from you, the Arana Nation has no respect for you. The Arana Nation wishes nothing but pain and torment and sorrow on your sorry ass. You are a weak, spineless jellyfish. You cannot stand or take the fact that others might think differently and publicly express them, and that makes you extremely weak and extremely vulnerable. And I should say that I would feel sorry for you in life going forward, but I don't feel any such thing. So with that disclaimer being said, consider your tacky-headed self warned. And now, with that unpleasantness out of the way, how y'all doing? Happy Friday. This is Arana Nation Friday night. I love Friday nights. That means it's the weekend. Nobody to bother me. It's just me, myself, and I. It's amazing. But we all know that in all seriousness now, and this is deeply and gravely serious, and this is going to be a long video, but a great video at that. There's going to be an election in Canada coming up very shortly, less than a year now. The Canadians will go to the polls, and we will see whether or not Canadians will reject and vanquish the son of Satan who sits upon the throne of Canada, Justin Trudeau, or as I like to call him, the long-haired Mac Daddy, or whether the whores, I call the Trudeau whores, will be victorious with the small number that they have, because the people who were chosen to save the nation either were too busy fighting amongst themselves, or people didn't show up to vote, or nobody took it seriously, or they just haven't been macked enough yet. But what I have here today is 38 reasons, 38 very important reasons why Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau, the son of Satan, and the head donkey of the farm of the mental barnyard, Justin Trudeau, should not be re-elected by the people of Canada. Now, with that being said, I'm very nervous about what's happening in this country, and I grieve for this country, and I'm tempted to break out into "Oh Canada" before starting this, but I want to get on with these reasons, and then we will go into some deep reflection and some truth, and I will lay some truth on you. I don't care how bad you don't like it. I don't care if you don't like what I have to say, or if you don't want to hear it, just leave right now. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lay some heavy truth, and we're going to get into some deep soul searching. We're going to probably end this. Definitely going to end this in prayer, and we're going to talk deep. And I've told people this is a salt channel, and I'm going to lay some salty truth on the people of Canada, because you need it. There's no time for fun and games and worrying about who's offended and all this stuff and who's going to unsubscribe and this and that. If you want to do that, go ahead. You're weak anyway. But the truth will set your Canuck head free. And with that, I will go into the 38 reasons why Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau should not be reelected as Prime Minister of Canada. Number one, he promised to be for the middle class, but we are no longer the richest middle class. Now, before the Mac Daddy was elected as Prime Minister of this country, it was a fact that Canada had the richest middle class on earth. The richest, which meant that if you took all the people in the middle class in Canada and you put them all in one bucket, and you put all the other people from all the other nations of the world in other buckets per capita, the Canadian people, middle class people, were richer than any other nation on the planet, even richer than the American middle class, the European middle class, the Australian middle class, the New Zealand middle class, etc., etc. The Mac Daddy has gotten rid of that. And we will delve into the reasons and the methods that he has done to get rid of that. But I want to continue with this list. But Canada right now does not have the richest middle class on the planet, which we used to have when Harper was Prime Minister. You can hate him all you want, but that is a fact. Number two, he used taxpayer dollars to pay for his children's nanny. Now, one of the saddest things that we have seen in our world today is young men who can't take responsibility for their own children. It is a shame, it's a sin and a shame before God that we have so many young people who are ready to make babies like rabbits but can't take care of them. Now, society likes to target black people, but we got Trudeau here, who's as white as this wall, and he is actually using our tax dollars to pay for his children's nanny. Now, this guy comes from a family of wealth, of influence, of stature, albeit a very trashy stature, but stature nonetheless. The Canadians are the ones who put that family in, that trashy family in stature. And he has money, he has a trust fund, he has wealth. And for him to deliberately use his power as Prime Minister to say, I'm going to take the taxpayers' money of Canada and I'm going to use it to pay for my children's nanny, that is a sin in my books. And for that reason alone, he should have never, ever been allowed to continue in the job as Prime Minister. Number three, he gave billions of our tax dollars to other nations. Now, this is a subject that I'm going to come back to over and over again, because I'm not just talking about one issue, giving billions of our tax dollars to other nations. That's just the tiny bit of the cake. I mean, we can talk about him saying that, veterans, they ask for too much, and then at the same time giving $33 million to Afghan vets. And that's actually the third reason why he should not be reelected. The other reason, he imposed a job-killing, environmentally unfriendly carbon tax upon Canada. And that's the fifth reason. The fourth reason was the $33 million going to Afghan vets and saying that Canadian vets ask for too much, which is a fact. That is what he said. Now, the carbon tax is something I've talked about. The carbon tax, and I say it's environmentally unfriendly, and it's job killing. We all know why it's job killing. Businesses aren't going to want to invest in Canada if they're going to have to pay billions of their profits towards a carbon tax. But a carbon tax is unfriendly to the environment because it ensures that companies will decide to move to other nations to pollute even more, in maybe China or America, where the pollution laws are more relaxed. They'll move, they'll leave Canada, they'll say, we're not going to pay it, we'll just leave. So what it's doing, it's putting jobs and business into the hands of China and America, Brazil and India and all these countries which pollute far heavier than Canada, and they'll pollute even more. Number 6 said he thought we should phase out Alberta oil sands. Later said he misspoke. Well, this is a fact. He had said that we need to phase it out, Alberta oil sands. This man hates Alberta. He hates Alberta with a passion. And any Albertan who would even think of voting Liberal, I think Albertans need to spit upon that person, because this person hates Alberta. And now oil sands, that's one of the big job, that's one of the things that Alberta relies on. And for him to say that we need to phase it out, and he didn't misspeak. He's a lying sack of trash like his daddy. He's conniving, he's sneaky, he's a Matt daddy. And for him to say that he knows that he wants to phase out the Alberta oil sands, but he knows that, Albertans rely on this to put food on their table. So you phase that out, you're going to kill Alberta, and he'll probably like that. But in the meantime, he needs to keep his popularity. Let me run through these. Number 6 has done nothing people can be proud of except weed legalization. I used to be against weed legalization, but now I'm for it. That's one of the few issues that I've done a complete 180 on. I support it. I support it all the way. I think it should be private companies should buy it and everything. But other than the weed issue, he has not done anything that Canadians can be proud of. Nothing. I can't think of a single thing. Ever since he's been in, it's just been problem after problem after problem after problem, and gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe. He has done nothing that Canadians can rally around and say, oh, I'm so proud of that. Even Chrétien did something. He balanced the budget and had surpluses over and over and over again. I mean, every prime minister has done something, at least two things that Canadians can rally around and say yay and amen to. Number 8 did nothing to stop the large influx of illegals coming to Canada from America. Number 9, in the beginning of this current year, he lost the most jobs in 9 years. 88,000 jobs lost. Now, I mean, the illegal thing, I have hit that hammer over and over and over again. People coming in, illegals from the American southern border, they're just pouring in. We don't know where they are, who they are, what they believe. You can't screen an illegal. They just come in through the sun. They just come on in and just lay down, have a little Tim Hortons coffee, eat some donuts. There is no border. Canada doesn't have a border, thanks to Justin the Longer and Mac Daddy Trudeau. And with that brings danger. And I'm not saying that all illegals are dangerous. I will say that they're all criminals, because if you're an illegal, you're automatically a criminal. No matter what. You broke the law. You came into the country illegally. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my twin brother. You come into the country illegal, you're a criminal. Had natives living with contaminated water while using our taxes to spend on other nations. And natives are still living with poisonous water, contaminated water, on many reserves across this great country of ours. Meanwhile, again, billions of dollars going to other countries, Indonesia, to help them with their food crisis, and Middle Eastern and African countries to help them with their food crisis. Indonesia actually was to give money to go to give their infrastructure, to help fix their infrastructure. Allowed illegal alien Razak Lyle to stay in Canada. Now, this is just another thing. This is a particular individual who broke our law, albeit risked his life. Yeah, you can say that all you want, but he still broke the law and came into the country illegally. He was allowed to stay, as are many illegals. Allowed CBC to use our taxes to racially divide Canada and make Trump supporters look racist. And I talked about this in a YouTube video that I made a while back, where the CBC did a documentary where they had one of their employees dress up as a Trump supporter and scream white power out there. That costs us money. That's our taxes. And he didn't do anything to stop them.